Good afternoon. I'm the Reverend Stephanie Chase Bradbury, class of 1981, and I'm delighted to be sharing with you some reflections. I'm going to begin by going a little woo-woo on you and tell you the story of a profound spiritual experience I had, one which still forms me today. It was an experience of universal unity, of seeing beyond the veil. You're probably going to think to yourself, this is going to be weird, but I invite you to engage in a few minutes of suspended disbelief and hear me out. I was a 19-year-old sophomore at the University of Virginia. At the beginning of winter break during my junior year, I hitched a ride with a friend heading north. I found myself in a decrepit student car, chock full of luggage. We were driving north on Route 29. I was tired from exams, so we didn't talk much. I remember leaning back, staring out the window at the rainy day. I let my vision get a bit hazy as farms and fields flashed by. When suddenly, out of nowhere, my vision shifted. I was still seeing farms and fields and rain, but I was also seeing through them to the truth underneath. I could see the material world as I normally see it, but it was transparent somehow, so I could also see simultaneously the vibrant unity behind the veil of the material world. It was vivid and alive with movement and energy. Both realities were visible, but the material world was transparent and less real. It was like a mask hiding what was true underneath. The truth was that everything is one. That everything behind the scenes is connected, and that all of it, earth, sky, plants, animals, my friend, me, the car, the road, are all part of this one huge, glorious whole, and it is gorgeous. In fact, that was the most amazing part, the beauty. Mere existence, as well as all movement of existence, is all flowing as if in a spectacular celestial dance. We aren't individual entities knocking around on earth, but we are one, you and I, and it is all good, and it is flowing as part of a whole. All of reality hangs together in intricate harmony and beauty, and for that 60 seconds, I could perceive that truth. I have a very clear memory of driving by a herd of cows just as one of them lifted his tail and defecated. And I remember watching it and thinking to myself that it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my whole life. So even the parts that I would consider unpleasant with my normal vision, in my expanded vision, were spectacular. I was seeing with different eyes, and it took my breath away. And now you're thinking to yourself, great, now she's talking about cow patties. But after that 60 seconds or whatever it was, my vision settled back down into its usual view, and I didn't say a word to anyone about the experience for a long time. I didn't know how to process it. But I became convinced that there is some force out there that flows through all of us and around us. And from that day on, I knew, deep in my bones, that all of reality is one. That all of existence is connected on a deep level in ways that we cannot perceive in our normal state. The Hindu Swami Vivekananda says, all differences in this world are of degree and not of kind, because oneness is the secret of everything. The Christian mystic Julian of Norwich writes, in the sight of God, all humans are oned, and one person is all people, and all people are in one person. What this means is that every one of you is greater than you realize. Every one of you is an eternal being who is intricately woven into the fabric of reality. Every one of you is profoundly precious and loved. Sure, we walk around with our material bodies, which are valued gifts, by the way, but we have a deeper, transcendent part to ourselves, which is connected to everyone and everything else, including God. A part about which most of us are unaware, but is even more real than anything you can touch. I told you this was woo-woo. Once we understand this unity, we cannot look at other people, even those we don't like very much, and say, you don't matter to me. That would be like shooting yourself in the foot. It makes no sense. To understand that all of reality is connected on a divine, transcendent level is to have compassion for all people, plants, animals, earth, oceans, and air. It is to have compassion for ourselves. I understand most people don't think in this way on a regular basis, but many instinctively know the truths of compassion, love, and unity, and practice them. For instance, back in the late 70s, the Emma Willard School taught a bunch of random girls from around the globe how to be friends. Rock on, class of 81. Our eyes were open to new ways of thinking and seeing with a larger perspective. We were given opportunities to grow and express our talents to share with the whole. We learned what it was to give back to those around us. And this reunion weekend, all of us who are gathered here virtually, even virtually that counts, we are reconnecting, rediscovering our unity. Of course, only a small sliver of the oneness, to be sure, but now gathered intentionally. If you've not already done so, consider the possibility that you are more than your physical body, that you have a spiritual nature connected to all that is, and that your potential for spiritual growth in both this life and eternal life is prodigious. To that end, I will conclude with a little fable, which I did not write, but which I love, entitled Acornology. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, there was a kingdom of acorns nestled at the foot of a grand old oak tree. Since the citizens of this kingdom were modern, fully westernized acorns, they went about their life with purposeful energy. And since they were midlife baby boomer Gen X acorns, they engaged in a lot of self-help courses. There were seminars called Getting All You Can Out of Your Shell, and Who Would You Be Without Your Nutty Story? There were woundedness and recovery groups for acorns who had been bruised in their fall from the tree. There were spas for oiling and polishing those shells, and various acornopathic therapies to enhance longevity and well-being. One day, in the midst of this kingdom, there suddenly appeared a naughty little stranger, apparently dropped out of the blue by a passing bird. He was capless and dirty, making an immediate negative impression to his fellow acorns. And to make things worse, crouched beneath the mighty oak tree, he stammered out a wild tale. Pointing up at the tree, he said, "We are that!" Delusional thinking, obviously, the other acorns concluded, but they continued to engage him in conversation. So tell us, how do we become that tree? Well, he said, pointing downward, it has something to do with going into the ground and cracking open the shell. Insane, they responded, totally morbid. Why, then we wouldn't be acorns anymore.